All right, so welcome back to the show. I'm gonna start keeping track of these. I haven't really been keeping track, so I guess last week was episode 4, so this is episode 5. So we got a real special cast of characters tonight. I think Bags is sitting on a merry-go-round or something. He's moving around a lot. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
something
going
like
on.
that. Sorry, guys, I didn't bring the proper equipment for this, so bear with me.
It's all good. But yeah, Bags is here, Marsh is here. So is there anything you guys want to say before we get started?
No, just thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
bro.
man, appreciate
Yeah,
it, and I look forward to talking about these damn Cowboys, man. Jesus.
yeah, Bags isn't new to the podcast game. Yeah, Bags is a longtime podcast veteran. You call him a pioneer in the podcast game, I guess you could, huh?
That idea, them old go long podcasts, man. Those days, those were the good ones, though. I think you make a good point. I don't think we can ever bring those up again. Those are sacred. A lot of fights will happen if people heard them. There'll be a
Yeah,
lot of
I
controversy.
I, I archived them. Yeah, I still have all the files and stuff, but a lot of those are archived. But all right, let's get right to it. We just actually, yeah. So it's Monday night. Jaguars Bills just finished. That was a blowout, so we'll get into that later. Also, a really good game between Washington Commanders and Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are now 0-3. Jayden Daniels looks like it's only 3 weeks, but he looks like the clear front runner for Rookie of the Year and seems to be the best quarterback
Malik
of the
Neighbors.
draft class. But I don't know how fair that is to say, seeing that Caleb Williams um, it really just isn't. Seems like he doesn't have the coaching staff around him to succeed. You see, Jayden Daniels is with an offensive minded guy, Cliff Kingsbury, who was with Caleb Williams, and I think Kingsbury was with Mahomes, right, at Texas Tech.
He was.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you got a guy who has a track record of kind of getting the most out of these already who are immensely talented. So not taking anything away from Mahomes, not taking anything away from Kyler Murray. I mean, it didn't go as planned in Arizona. I don't think that was solely because of the offensive scheme. They had a lot of things lacking in his time there with paired with Kyler Murray. But you're
Mhm.
looking at him with Jayden Daniels. It just seems like the match made in heaven. So, did you guys watch the game? Um, what do you guys got to say about like the play of Jayden Daniels?
Bax, you can go first.
Yeah, I think I definitely saw things tonight. I didn't see the first couple weeks. Um, I think the difference between, you're talking about the support system and what they have in place, think Caleb Williams, I know it's kind of iffy, but what I notice is the Commanders really try to have a rush game that helps open up the pass game for Jayden Daniels. And you look at the Bears, they have no run game like whatsoever. So I think the run game help opens up the pass, which we've been seeing that a lot the first 2 weeks. But tonight, I think you just saw, a throwing ability that you didn't see the first 2 weeks finally put in action, and he dropped dimes. I think he broke a record for the highest percentage, right, in passing in the
Yeah,
game
yeah.
for
He
like that.
finished he finished at 91% completion for the game, which is a rookie record in a game.
Exactly. So you knew he was athletic.
Your mic's off. Your mic's a little. I can't hear you.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see this. I'm taking off. But anyways, yeah, like you saw the athletic ability the first 2 weeks. He made a couple good passes and whatnot. He had some rushing touchdowns. You can tell he's athletic. He can move with his feet. But I think tonight you really saw him showcase what he has, you know, throwing skill and his ceiling, what he could be for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna build off of that. The game tonight that Jaden has was like fantastic. I mean, he converted some key fourth downs that prevented the Bengals from getting an extra drive to be able to tie it up. And then of course the last throw that he bombed over to Terry when they showed him the cover zero look and he had a guy in his face and just launched it back right pylon touchdown to ice the game was just
Nasty,
it was like
nasty.
that was one of the craziest throws I think that I've seen like by a rookie in a long time. And the only thing that I can really compare it to is Justin Herbert's rookie year when he was out there slinging it like that for the Chargers. So
Yeah.
um and on top of that, dude only missed like I think he only had like two incompletions
Yeah, more touchdowns and incompletions. Yeah.
So like it was just a masterclass performance. And you can tell, I mean, the guys are rallying around him. The run game was there. Eckler was showing signs of some life too, and people were writing him off. Brian Robinson, always been a good downhill back too that they have in their back pocket whenever they need those tough yards. Um, and then like the kids honestly just spewing confidence, and unfortunately for Caleb, he's facing the scrutiny of being the number one pick. And I feel like the discourse that was around his name before the season even started was that he has all these weapons. He has Keenan, he has Rome, he has DJ Moore, a top potential or debatably a top five defense. With Jalen Johnson being the cornerstone of their DBs back there. And then also having, DeAndre Swift, but like Bags mentioned, like their run game has literally been non-existent these last like 3 weeks. Um, and it's just been like impossible, I guess, for Caleb to be able to get anything going.
Yeah, it's tough to watch Jayden Daniels ball out like this, and not think about Caleb Williams. That's really what the thing that came to my mind is the support system. Like the way it looks easy for him because Bags alluded to them being able to run the ball with Brian Robinson, who can is a good runner. Eckler is a solid second running back to have. Um, and then their ability to run and then Jayden, one thing I talked about last week, how it surprised me is his ability to run the ball. Yeah, he needs to slide more, but I didn't realize he's this fast. He looks fast at the NFL level. So that just says it all right there. But I think the thing with Caleb, I saw a stat about DeAndre Swift. He's ran in 3 weeks for one first down. That's it. And they say
Yeah.
that they're the two best friends of a rookie quarterback is a run game and the tight end. So it seems like their run game is non-existent and they're not really getting Cole Kmet incorporated or Gerald Everett. They're asking Caleb to do a lot. A lot of the times, if you just randomly turn on a Chicago Bears game, you're going to see
Mhm.
Caleb Williams running around in the backfield, freaking
Yeah.
getting 40 yards of yard distance, just running
Yeah.
around trying to keep plays alive and looking like Fran Tarkenton. And that's asking a lot out of any quarterback, let alone a rookie quarterback. And then another takeaway from tonight is you see a guy kind of who in a lot of ways reminds me of Caleb Williams um, coming out of college, where it's like you knew after his freshman year he was going to be the number one pick in the draft, which is Trevor Lawrence, and
Mhm.
and he was a guy all the talent in the world, can run, can throw from every arm angle, has a great arm, big, athletic, and then but it just kind of it never looked easy, and they really haven't put an offensive mastermind around Trevor Lawrence to make the game look easy. Yeah, ETN's good, but the system it kind of calls for a lot early on for Trevor to do a lot, and I feel like he built a lot of bad habits, and we're looking at him like, okay, like this might be as good as it gets for him. So I don't
Yeah.
want that to happen to Caleb, and I really think that they need to get somebody in there who can make the game easier for Caleb. Somebody either a Ben Johnson or, in my opinion, the guy who's calling plays for the Texans.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's definitely more the offensive coordinator. I like Doug Peterson personally. I think he's a good coach. I think the Eagles fucking canned him quick. I
Yeah,
think they won the Super Bowl the year after he didn't do that good. And the Eagles are notorious for that, though, just cutting coaches after a bad year. But I personally like him. I think he's a good coach. I think Trevor Lawrence's first 2 years were promising. You could definitely, he was definitely better his first 2 years than what he is now, which is usually the opposite in people's careers. So it's very interesting. But maybe I do think it has to do with the system. I don't think they're putting him in a position where they're kind of relieving some pressure on him. I think he carries all the weight in his shoulders, kind of like how Justin Herbert did before Harbaugh was there. But yeah, they definitely need to simplify for him and give him some more easy plays for sure.
I think that, I mean, he's been in the league for a long enough time to where I feel like um that he should be making some of these throws that he's missing. Like, I mean, he had one where he had Brian Robinson or Brian, the rookie number 7, wide open across the field, and he just completely sailed the ball over his head. And that's how Damar Hamlin got his first pick today. Um, I think he was a little bit rattled today. And also, not to mention that the Bills defense these past 3 weeks has been, I think, like a top like 5 unit against the pass right now. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves. But I'll always be an advocate on like, better coaching as well. I think that the fact that he's not using Christian Kirk at all when about not this past season because he was hurt, but the year before, Kirk had like a career year. He's barely getting targets. Um, and let's not forget too that Evan Ingram was out today as well. So that's like a big passing weapon that they didn't have today. That's pretty unfortunate. But well, I mean, watching the game today, man, he just looked rattled. Like he was missing throws, and just I didn't think that the offense as a whole was as cohesive as it's been, in the past. Um, but I mean, Trevor is still, I mean, he's a great athlete. We've seen flashes of it. It's just I don't know. It's hard for me to tell this early into it if it's like more so the coaching rather than him. But at least watching the game tonight, he looked pretty rattled back there.
Mhm.
Yeah. It looks like Bag said, everything's on his shoulder, so he's kind of pressing. He knows he has a bad team. Yeah, and then like you said, the throw over in the middle that was off. His mechanics
Yeah,
are all over the place. They need to get someone to simplify the offense for them because he's gonna. Yeah, and then now like you don't want his confidence to be gone. Like you can't pay a
Mhm.
guy $250 million and then his confidence is shot. So
yeah,
either they need Doug Peterson needs to get someone in there to help him out and bring the most out of him.
yeah,
Like for instance, like imagine Trevor Lawrence in Kyle Shanahan's office. Just drop Trevor Lawrence on the 49ers and it's the
yeah,
greatest show on earth. You know what I mean? So he has all the talent is there, but you gotta simplify it for any quarterback. You see what the Chargers are doing with Justin
yeah.
Herbert. Sometimes less is more. And I think that starts with the ability to consistently run the ball. That's really what it comes down to. But
100%. Yeah,
yeah, okay.
100%.
But leading off of talking Washington. So don't look now, Bags, but the Commanders are 2-1. The
Oh, dude.
Eagles are 2-1. And the Cowboys and the Giants are both 1-2 heading into next week. So the Cowboys coming off of loss to the Ravens, which was 28-25. But if you watch the game, really wasn't that close. It was 28-6 at some point or 28-3 at some point, I think. It looks like their last home games against the Saints and then against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs last year. What's going on with Dallas? And are you guys the third best team in your own division, Bags?
Honestly, for the podcast who doesn't know, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I always tell people I'm a realistic Cowboys fan, though I'm not the one who thinks we're going to win the Super Bowl every year. I'm not one of those obnoxious fans. I'd be the first one to tell you that we ain't doing shit. I would always, I prefer to expect the worst but hope for the best, right? But realistically, I always expect the worst. And if you're a real Cowboys fan, that's how you got to be, honestly. But I would say honestly, right now, the way the Commanders played tonight, I like the way they're gelling. I like Dan Quinn. He left Dallas, and I feel like the breakup wasn't as bad because of what happened in the Packers in the playoffs. After that game, when Dan Quinn left, we're like, all right, whatever, like kind of like fuck off. You know what I mean? But now seeing how they are in Commanders, I like their style of football, kind of their approach, the way they want to be physical and whatnot. I feel like the Cowboys defense definitely had that mindset. They were flying to the ball more. I feel like Dan Quinn was letting them loose, and I don't know. They look like a completely different team. I was just telling Renee, my boss, that the Cowboys are just fucking soft right now. They're soft. They're getting punched in the mouth, both sides of the ball, offense and defense. They're getting punched in the mouth. They're catching. They just don't look like they're disciplined. The run fills are terrible. They're running themselves out of the play. When they are in a position, they're getting punched in the mouth. I don't know. It's just not looking good. And the offense looks okay. I think our O line's not playing that well. We have two rookies starting, so that's kind of as presumed in a way. You know what I mean? But I feel like the Cowboys have been able to put up points and get yards and score, but it's at times where we don't. It's not at the right times. You know what I mean? It's junk yards at the end of the game, but they just look like an undisciplined football team right now. They look undisciplined and they look soft. Those are just the facts.
Yeah, a lot of the times the defense, yeah, you miss what's it called? Mike Quinn, what's his name? Dan Quinn.
Oh,
Dan
Dan
Quinn.
Quinn, yeah,
Yeah.
we're definitely missing him. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, but like you said, it made it an easy breakup because of what happened last year. And now you
yeah,
guys got Mike Zimmer. That's where I kind of got the names confused.
yeah,
But a lot of the times, the defense is going to take on the personality of its best player. So you look at those old championship Rams teams, Aaron
hmm,
Donald. What you couldn't punch Aaron Donald in the mouth and not expect him to grab your
yeah,
face mask and bring you this close to his face. You look at TJ Watt. No one's going to punch TJ Watt in the mouth.
yeah.
He's going to back down. No one's going to
It's a
punch
teeth.
Miles
Chris
Garrett in the
Jones.
mouth.
Chris
So
Jones. Teeth.
this
I
this
mean,
is all on Micah Parsons as far as the defensive intensity. Because he disappears, and when he's not having his way, he shuts down. You can see it in his body language, and when he's not bringing the level of intensity that he needs to really wreck the game, the whole defense is like, okay, I guess if Micah's not out there making plays, and I guess it's okay for me to fucking tiptoe through this gap and get fucking blown
yeah,
out the water. I guess it's
yeah,
okay for linemen to be fucking making it to the second level every other play. So, and then
yeah.
Micah has the nerve to call people out at the end of the
I was
game,
gonna
man.
say you saw that him and Demarcus Lawrence. Hey, that's not a good look, bro. I looked at the lip sync and it didn't sound too good. Basically,
Micah,
you talking shit. Yeah, basically Michael was trying to tell the whole defense, fucking pull your head out of your ass. Like, what the fuck are we doing? And then Demarcus Lawrence like, what the fuck are you doing? You ain't doing shit. You're getting punched in the mouth. It's basically what he.
yeah, Micah, yeah, and like you said, it's soft. Because Micah, like we've talked about Micah a lot. He's fast, is all get out. He is a little bit undersized for a D end. And two, when you look at the elite D ends in the league, Trey Hendrickson, Aiden Hutchinson, TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, they all have positive wingspans. They all have long ass arms.
Yeah,
Micah
Max
Parsons has
Crosby.
little baby T-Rex arms. So if
Yeah,
when them big old linemen they get their arms on him,
yeah,
it's kind of hard. Once you get your
yeah,
hands on him, it's a little bit tough for him to get out off of the
yeah.
block. And then, but two, I know the defense played bad, but I can't let Dak off the hook. I can't. I can't let Dak off the hook. This reminded me of the Green Bay playoff game, but not last year's. It's reminded me of the Green Bay playoff game his rookie year, where they went down 31-3, and then he wants to have a bowl of Campbell's soup at halftime and
Yeah,
try to come back and then
yeah.
lose by 3 points.
Can't happen.
You can't go down 28-3 against Lamar Jackson primetime NFL Fox game of the week. I don't care what the defense is doing. You can't let that happen. Dak, you got to find some way to get some points on the board. You got to make play. You got to convert some third downs. You can't throw picks. We cannot be
Yeah.
down 28-3.
Yeah. You know what I think, and to Dak's credit, if you listen to the interview after the game, the post game interview, he did say, you know what, you're playing against one of the biggest offensive juggernauts. They're explosive. They make big plays. They put up 25 points. We got to win that game. As an offense, we got to score. So, he did admit, defense is getting a lot of the blame, which, of course they should. But at the same time, if you're holding that deep, that offense to 25 points the whole game, like as a team, you need to score fucking points to win that game. You know what I mean? So I think he was right in that standpoint, and that's always been Dak.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's why it's hard to hate on the guy, dude, because off the field, he's a stand-up guy. He always says the right thing. He's a good leader. He'll take it to the chin. But it's just like, man, I don't care how good of a guy you are off and you say all the right things. At the end of the day, it just depends. It just matters what happens on the field. You can be a Mr. Nice Guy all you want, but if facts over feelings, if you're not producing, the results are the results. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but he did say the right thing that the offense needs to score.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
starts with him. The buck stops with him.
Yeah. And pause on Dak takes it to the chin, too.
Yeah. Where's the run game too? You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Sorry. You gotta
Go
get
ahead,
on
bro.
it. You gotta eventually move on to Jerry Jones about what he said about Derrick Henry, why they didn't sign him too. Jesus.
All
You
right, we'll
see
talk
that?
about Jerry. But
Yeah.
what takeaways did you have from the game, Marsh?
Shoot, man, I was just gonna say I agree heavy with the Micah criticism because if he's not doing a pass rush, it's like he's almost like taken out of the game. Like I had watched a little film breakdown from the New Orleans game. They were basically running at his side the entire time because he takes himself out of the play when it's a run, like almost every time, whether if it's not containing the edge or if it's over pursuing or if it's giving up his gap. And like I don't know what he has to do in order to not do that. I know um like you gotta just have a better mindset with that, like especially on the defensive side of the ball. You gotta have that edge like 99% of the time when you're playing. So I mean, the fact that teams are literally like running at his side instead of like completely altering their play to go away from him is like very telling. To be quite honest. I don't know if it's because he has to change his position or if he's I don't know what it is, but teams are definitely running more at his side. And that's really not that good of a look. But same thing with the whole Dak thing, like if you just look at his like without watching the game and then if you just look at his stats, it looks like he had a good game. I believe he had like a 96 QBR rating, no picks, two tubs, but a lot of that was, because after being up, Ravens is being up, they have that big lead. I mean, at that point, they're giving you everything underneath. So he's getting all those completions, he's getting
Yep.
all those extra
Campbell's.
yards, basically. Yeah. So it's like that's how kind of got back into the game is because the Ravens were letting them get all the underneath stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you were saying, two bags, like he's a obviously like great captain. I mean, he's well spoken. Um, but it's like that can only take you so far. Like you guys got to win the big games, like
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
against a team like this where it's a potential team that you could potentially see in the playoffs if you were to get that far. Like these are like big time games that you like literally need to win throughout the season, not only to give, everyone else confidence, but like give your own team confidence, give yourself that confidence too.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. When your best defensive lineman can't stop the run, you can't stop the run. And like
Yeah.
you said, he's physically not built to stop the run. He has little baby
That's what I'm saying.
T-Rex
I think it
arms.
has to do with his size, like you said. We just think he's a little small. Like he gets pushed around when it comes to the run game.
Yeah,
He's
and
just,
and
yeah,
and that just goes to show the Cowboys, but then that puts a lot of pressure on your offense because now you can't play from behind. We you got to put yourselves in position where Micah 75% is rushing the passer. If we're up two touchdowns and we're running the ball 70% of the time, like you said, when Micah's not rushing the passer, he's getting fucking driven into the second level or just overrunning plays,
Yeah.
yeah,
rushing the passer on obvious rundowns. So it puts a lot of pressure on the offense. But hey, man, at the end of the day, when you're the highest paid person in NFL history, you got to take that pressure, big
yeah,
dog.
Yeah,
You
you
yeah,
you
have to.
can't allow us to go down 28-3 in
yeah,
the first half. You can't allow us to go down 44-3
yeah,
in the first half against New Orleans Saints, who just lost to the
yeah.
Eagles. And now you blink and it's one you're third place. You're tied for last place in the division, playing a Giants team who just came off a pretty good win against Cleveland, a team who on offense looks like Malik Neighbors is looking like that guy. And Danny
Yeah.
Jones is starting to get to his legs under him, starting to play with some confidence. They already don't like you, and they're like, "Fuck." I mean, we're 1-2. They don't look that damn good either.
It's going to be a
What's
good game. 100%. I'm telling you, it's going to be closer than what I
is
think
it?
people.
Is it in? Where's it at?
Do you think that, dude? There's no way Dallas going to play three home games in a row. Maybe.
Yeah, can't be. No, it's probably yeah. You're right. It's probably in New York. But yeah.
Mm.
So I mean,
Here,
it's gonna.
hey, I gotta say something though. You know, I'm a diehard Micah Parsons fan. I got a Cowboys jersey. I fucking the shit's hanging up right now. If he keeps playing the way he's playing right now, and this bullshit keeps happening, and just I just don't like how it's going. I don't, dude, because he's gonna be the highest paid defensive
You're
player
gonna
ever,
have
dude.
to.
But
You're gonna
me as
have
a
to.
Cowboys fan, it's like,
Fuck.
and I love Micah Parsons too, dude. But it's just like, bro,
You got
like
the. You got the first. You
it's like
got.
it's gonna be Dak Prescott. We're gonna pay the highest quarterback ever, and no fuck. We really don't want to pay this fucker, but what option do we have?
Yeah, you'd be paying the highest paid quarterback ever, the highest paid defensive player ever, and second highest paid receiver ever. So or third highest. What's CD? Third, second, or third?
I think
Yeah,
it's
I think so. And that doesn't leave much room to pay anybody else that comes in
Nobody
and
else. They gonna might have to fuck around, and sign me, you, and Bags off the practice
like
squad.
like
After you
like
paying them,
a special teams coach.
yeah. Like I was saying, the Giants, Malik Neighbors is looking like a guy that I wanted to talk to. I forget what kind of brought this topic up,
Mm,
but he's looking like we haven't seen this a receiver have this type of impact for the Giants since Odell Beckham
yeah.
Jr.
Mm,
So I really feel because of the injuries, a lot of people forget just how good. Okay, this is how this conversation went up or came into my mind. Someone was speaking about Justin Jefferson and how like when he's playing, it's must see TV. Yeah, he's must see TV, but I don't. The last player I remember being must watch. Like you was turning on a game to watch this guy make and like catch a slant and take it fucking 80 yards to the crib. Just about it seemed like every play or catch a ball, something
mhm.
spectacular, even in the warm-ups. The last player I feel like that was must watch TV like that in the NFL was Odell Beckham Jr.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
would just go ahead, go ahead.
no, no, you're good. I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, he had that one year where he was. It's hard to say, dude, because in his prime, dude, he was so skilled, such a great athlete. I mean, he was unbelievable, but I just didn't see enough of it.
Oh, I think he had the first 3 years before he broke his ankle. I think because the second year was pretty much more of the same, and then the third year he broke his ankle against the Chargers and had to sit out, and then kind of been plagued with injuries since then.
Yeah.
But I feel like the combination of speed, athleticism, he's a dog too. He'll come up and fucking block you. Pretty much an instant touchdown, a lot like how Tyreek Hill is nowadays. But I feel like it was a little bit more spectacular. Even I feel like I feel like he's like a guy who gets like underrated. And when we're talking about like I feel like if he has a healthy 10-year career, I feel like we're looking at a at least top 10 receiver all time.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, he's nasty, bro. That's why I said at the beginning of the podcast, you're talking about Jake Daniels as offensive rookie of the year. Like right now, I'm like, Malik Neighbors is up there too, bro. That last game, dude, I think he caught that one drive. He caught two balls in the same drive that were just insane catches. Like the one he ends remind me of Des Bryant in the
Oh,
end
the one
zone
where
where
he
he's jumping
caught
up
it
there blocking someone.
parasailing in the air. Yeah, when he ended
Yeah,
the toe tap.
remind me
Yeah.
of Des Bryant shit, bro. That me and you were just talking about that the other week. But yeah, man, he's gonna be special. He is unreal, and I don't know.
You
I'm
think
trying to
you,
think of who I would compare him to.
who? Oh, Malik Neighbors.
Yeah,
Uh, he's more powerful than
Um,
Odell was.
I don't want to be. Hey, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a Cowboys fan, but like in his prime, do you think he kind of reminds you of Des
He's a
a little
better
bit?
route runner. He's a better route runner than Dez. He's a little bit
Yeah, I think he's a
faster.
better athlete all around than he is for sure.
I was gonna say like a mix between like a Jamar and Dez.
He reminds me a lot of Jamar
Ooh,
Chase. That's a good one. Yep, that's a great
Mark Chase,
yeah.
yeah,
Because he's more powerful. He's extremely powerful, and yeah, like Jamar Chase and Dez. I think that's
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good comparison right there. Because yeah, he's yeah. When you seen him snatch the ball from under the
Crazy,
freaking yeah, that's Dez Bryant, and then you see him
crazy.
run the route in the back of the end zone, and then do the Jamar Chase type catch, toe tap with as much grace as a gazelle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
he's
crazy.
an issue. But then you're looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. He's balling too.
yeah.
I mean, he had that one explosive game versus us, but I think last week he actually got held in check a bit.
Mm.
He
There's
scored.
a lot of
He had a touchdown.
there's a huh?
He's yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense too, to be honest. But yeah, no, I feel like right now at this moment, if we're just basing off these first 3 weeks, the offensive rookie of the year is for sure like the Jayden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, but I feel like we already know how the NFL like favors the quarterback
Oh
positions.
yeah,
I think
100%.
that
Well, I don't
the
know, man. If Malik goes for 3 touchdowns and 200 yards this upcoming week and makes the Dallas Cowboys 1-3, He might have to take the lead right there.
No,
And
it's
it,
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
possible. I'm just saying that the NFL does favor quarterbacks for positions
yeah,
like that
for sure,
for a lot of the time.
for sure.
Not all the time, but just, a good amount, I feel like.
Yeah. And going back to, you guys hear me, B?
yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Whenever I plug my phone in, it goes away. Anyhow, uh, kind of going back to Marsh was saying, but you know, Marvin Harrison, he had that one good game, but the thing that concerns me, and after week one, this was the thing a lot of people were talking about, and they even had a stat to track it, was how slow he just looked on the field. He didn't look nearly that slow in college. And they, I forgot what they call, but do those things where they track how fast your top speed throughout the game, and his top speed was like 15 or 16 miles per hour the whole game.
I think that was one of the
Even that game though, that he went off to score two touchdowns, the one where he caught it and ran in, he almost got hawked from the back. He didn't. He looked like he was like in slow mo almost. So
well,
he
yeah,
looked,
he's a long strider and he's wearing black shoes. Black shoes make you like Coach Rod said, you got to wear the
oh
high
my
white
goodness,
socks.
that
It
much
Mhm.
makes you look
slower though.
faster.
Come on, that much
Well,
slower.
and I think that 15 miles per hour, I think that was an NBA centil type shit where it's not even it's fake. Like that's just a nigga trolling. He wasn't running no damn 15. He ran a 4.5. He ran a
You
four
gotta
five
admit, though,
forty,
you
which
gotta admit
isn't the
though, he does.
fastest,
Yeah,
but he's 6'4" and has the body control of someone who's
yeah,
5'10". That's what makes him special.
true.
Yeah, he's not the fastest. He's not Julio Jones, but he's gonna. I think he's gonna be just as him and Malik Neighbors. You can't go wrong with either one. And now I'm fucking as a Chargers fan looking at Joe Alt has a MCL sprain. I'm like, God damn, we could have used a guy like
Yeah,
Malik Neighbors. I mean, Quentin Johnston, he's been balling a little bit. He has 3 touchdowns over the past 2 games, but Malik Neighbors is just like he's the real deal. He is the real deal.
No, definitely. But
Absolutely.
I feel like because especially with the signing of the hardball for you guys, his identity is just Smash Mouth. So it's
Yep.
like with watching y'all the past like 3 weeks, like J.K. Dobbins' career revived. I'm like super excited to see him out there running again. Like with how injury riddled his career has been the last like few years. Like I'm honestly pumped for the guy to be out there and like getting all those like good runs and all them stats and stuff. I know it feels good for him too. Takes a lot of pressure off Herbo. But it kind of does seem like that you guys are lacking a little bit of like that deep threat, or I guess like the electrifying player that's out there on the as at the receiver position. Um Lad's a good player too, a good slot receiver.
Yeah.
But I don't really see him really burning anybody, but he's more of like a route technician type of guy. Um, QJ, I think if he gets that confidence up though, I think he can be a dog, man. I
Yeah,
think he can be a dog.
absolutely.
He just got to get the confidence up.
Yeah, I remember there was an off-season workout, him and Marvin Harrison Jr. running routes, and it looked like the same guy. So it's like, yeah, he has all the tools. He's 6'4", he's fastest, he's quick for his size, he's strong, he's big. He just has to kind of just use his hands and his size more on
Yeah.
those 50-50 contested catches. He can run by you. That's not the
Mhm.
issue. And he can get good yards after catch for a guy that size, but he has to really use his size to his advantage. That's the difference between him and a guy like Mike Williams, who was a jump ball, contested ball guy. But I mean, he's producing right now, so they're
Mhm.
putting him in positions to succeed. They
Yeah.
last year, Brandon Staley and that whole squad, they were trying to use him like Mike Williams, and that's not his game. So at least Harbaugh has the kind of the football IQ to use a player the way that caters to their game. So I'm happy to see that. But yeah, we could break down that game. Chargers versus Steelers, both 2-0 teams who go in. Their recipe to win is make the quarterback do as less as possible. For and each team for two different reasons. The Chargers just because they feel like that's a recipe to win. The Steelers just because they feel like if they ask their quarterback to do more, it's not going to end well for them. They want to control the line of scrimmage and kind of let their defense lead them in winning the game. But it just came down to the Chargers injuries. Justin Herbert got hurt in the third quarter, and I feel like that kind of took the air out of the whole entire team. Joey Bosa got hurt. Someone who,
Again, dude.
yeah, very injury prone player. He got nicked and a hip that he's been dealing with over the past couple years, I think. Joe Alt got hurt. Rashawn Slater got hurt. So next week against the Chiefs, we're probably going to take that L going into it without our top paid pass rusher, our our two tackles who are the two highest graded in the league, and our $250 million quarterback. So yeah, just next week's going to be a dud against the Chiefs. But yeah, there's pretty much nothing to take away from that game other than fucking the Chargers got injured. So that kind of puts a hamper on the entire season. So as a Chargers fan, I'm just hoping we can lose to the Chiefs, and then I haven't looked to see who we play week 5. Or you got to hope to just be at least 500 when Herbert gets back.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in that division with you guys. Like that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, man. Because I was telling people like the Broncos are tough. Nobody wants to go into Denver in fucking December and play the Broncos. The defense, they're going to be hitting hard, and now you just seen them fucking figure something out on offense where they went into Tampa in Tampa with a rookie
Good win.
quarterback
Great
and
win.
just and fucking punched them in the mouth. So and you know who their coach is. They don't have an idiot at coach. The Raiders, they're not. Yeah, they had a lapse against the Panthers. I feel like that's on the team, just kind of taking them for granted. One, and then two, not having any tape on the offense that they run with Andy Dalton. And then the Chiefs goes without saying. So yeah, there's no games off in that division
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
So yeah,
literally zero games off. Especially with the Raiders too. I feel like that they kind of went into that game thinking that the Panthers were going to roll over. I
nope.
think possibly that, and they didn't have any recent film on Andy Dalton, so they didn't really know what to expect that much. But I feel like that is still kind of inexcusable considering that he has been in this league for a long time. But I did feel like that they kind of just got punched in the mouth and just couldn't even respond. And because Andy was looking like Cincinnati Andy when they were calling him Red Rocket, like slinging that thing all over the field, man. Especially that dot that he had to Thielen, where he threaded it
Oh
between
yeah, the more
dude.
Dylan Torres fucking hamstring
I
on.
was like, how the hell do you even make that throw, dude? That was crazy.
Catching a touchdown and tearing your hamstring is crazy.
Yeah, no, he's done. He's probably done for the year.
But yeah, man, I think that just goes to show the inexperience from the coaching side. Anytime a team's not prepared to play, that's on the coach. And I like Antonio Pierce. Last week they beat the Ravens because they didn't give up. That's his personality. A lot of times teams take on the personality of their head coach. So I feel like the inexperience in him, he's never had to go on the road against a team who just lost their quarterback and then putting in a guy whose last two times on tape were terrible with the
Mhm.
Cowboys and then with the Bears. So I think they'll still be a tough team to beat throughout the year. It's really, yeah, it was a trap game and they fell for the trap. But speaking of tough divisions, let's get to arguably the game of the week. Rams 49ers. I'll kind of let you narrate that, Marsh, since that is your squad, a diehard Rams fan in your own right.
Dude, man, yeah. I mean, I'd be lying if I were saying that I was going into the game thinking that we were going to get that dub. Like, I don't care who was hurt. I mean, looking at the injury report, they didn't have Debo, they didn't have Kittle. CMC's dealing with the Achilles tendonitis. And I think they did have some guys on defense who actually returned. I think Hafunga, this was his first game back too,
Yeah.
after I think he tore his ACL last year. Um, and then, with us, Puka's out, Cup is out, John Johnson's out, DK's out. And then, I think we had like two of our linemen were out too, but we had our starting left tackle who came back, which ended up being pivotal for us because he held both. I don't even think Bosa had a sack last game, so that helped us out a lot. But um, to be honest, once we got down 14, man, I was like, I was having flashbacks of the game last week when Arizona came in and just demolished us. But for some reason, man, it's just like I don't know what's up with Shanahan, but it's like once he has a lead, man, it's just like it's bound to get you know he blows it somehow, some way. The dude always finds a way to blow the lead, man. And I'll probably say I knew that we had a chance when we went into halftime, and I believe it was 7-14. Um, I was like, all right, I think that we might be able to have a chance. Uh, and then, our defense was making some good stops. We had some good turnovers. Uh, Byron Young, a good outside guy that we got a good cool strip sack on Purdy that helped us out a bunch. And then obviously like our rookie too, who's still, try to get his footing a little bit. He's been missing a crazy amount of sacks, Jared Verse, but once he actually, I think he'll get it. But he had a good game. I think he's a top candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year right now. Um, and then I think our tackle Braden Fisk had like 6 pressures from the nose guard position, which is like a crazy thing to have, considering how solid the 49ers offensive line is. Granted, Trent Williams did get hurt during the game, so I think I don't know if I can't remember if he finished it or not, but ultimately, man, it's like I feel like when you got a lead like that and it gets close, Stafford is the last quarterback that you want to be playing against because the dude just is gutsy, man. Like the throw that he had to Tutu at the end, the fucking bomb, dude. I was like,
Oh yeah.
this
Oh
guy's
yeah.
crazy, dude. Like
Yeah.
there's only a few quarterbacks who I would think who would even
Yeah,
attempt to make that throw. Uh,
yeah.
like
He's a gunslinger. Yeah,
dude,
he,
The
he's
dude,
he's he's the definition of gunslinger.
dude,
And
the
and
dude's fucking tough. That's a fucking yeah. He's tough as nails, bro. He's
mhm,
always been like that, even in Detroit. That
yeah,
fool used to take a beating every game.
yeah, he got beat up against the Niners. But yeah, I think a couple things that you said, Marsh, is definitely something that has some validity to it. But first, I want to mention Sean McVay giving Kyle Shanahan the noogie after the game,
bro,
little
he
noogie
Lil
time.
broed him.
He gave me a little noogie.
He
Oh,
literally he
hey,
like
hey, better
grabbed
look
his
next
head and was
time,
like
Shanahan.
this.
You remember I taught you this, the noogie. Yeah, so that was pretty.
Oh, you
That
touch
was
him.
pretty telling. But
You
Kyle, you
touch
got to eat that.
him.
So a couple things that you said, man. Yeah, definitely freaking. I didn't even look at this game like this, but yeah, this is another blown lead by Kyle Shanahan, who most famously 2 times in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and then we all know the greatest Super Bowl comeback of all time against the fucking the Patriots. Yeah, when he was the OC for the Falcons. Just 5 more minutes, Bags.
Yeah, I got 5 minutes. Sorry, I got my girl
Uh,
down texting me
uh,
here.
there.
Sorry.
Jesus, bro. All right, but yeah.
I got my Rubio down. Hey, I didn't even get a chance to eat, bro. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah. It's not the only thing you're gonna be eating, huh? But
Jeez.
but
Hey,
yeah, and then another thing that you said, you almost made me lose my train of thought here with your Rubios and
all right, Shannon Sharp.
your sloppy seconds over here, huh? But yeah, fuck. What was the other thing I was about to say? So between oh yeah, them not being able to close out the lead. And then yeah, when you're looking at a game where in the first half, you're looking Brock Purdy seems to be dialed in. Juwan Jennings is having the game of his life. We already spoke about this. Looked like the second coming of Jerry Rice, and happened to be the week that I was playing against him in fantasy.
Yep.
And then I also had Brock Purdy on the bench for Baker. But and Baker fucking threw a turd bowl party.
Really like
But then
10 points, 8 points, something like
yeah,
that.
exactly. Pulled a Dak. But then but yeah, and then you look at all this, and like you said, halftime. Oh shit, we're only down 7 points, and we're getting our ass kicked. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and
Mhm.
then the familiarity, the rivalry within the division. That was a damn good win because I know I turned off that game. Even after I think you guys tied it up, and then I saw that the Niners were getting the ball back. I was like, okay, at worst, this game's going to overtime, and then I turned it back on. I looked at the ESPN app and it said the Rams won. And I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a great
man.
win.
Yeah, so that game
Good
had
win.
no business being won in regulation for
I
the
mean,
Rams.
our defense was able to get a good stop on that drive. I think they were driving with like a minute left. It was like a 3rd and 8, and we just had everyone boxed. Got Purdy to
Mhm.
scramble, and he didn't get a chance to pick that up. So, and that's when we hit that 50-yard bomb, the 2-2, and then scored. And then like it was after that, man, it was just game over. Like once it's close like that, man, I know that we have a chance. Especially like you mentioned, like we were going into halftime 14-7. I think that we have one of the best like halftime adjustment like
Hmm.
like we're just one of the best halftime adjustment teams like in the league right now. And there's not many coaches that I would put above McVay other than probably like Andy Reid.
Yeah,
Um, uh, and then potentially, I mean, I really rock with Mike Tomlin just because he's
He's
always been
black.
hmm,
so consistent for the like
yeah,
since the AB days. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I put him in top two. I'm still putting McVay at two, but I'll put Tomlin up there in top five for sure.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think when we talk X's and O's, McVay is better coach than Tomlin. Yeah,
Yeah.
he reminds me of the fiery Pop Warner black coach
Yeah.
who's just kind of, he's real tough
No,
and
he
he's not
Tomlin's a leader of men.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a leader of men. He
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of Coach Rod in a way, kind of the way he carries himself.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if you ask Mike Tomlin to draw up a trap play on the board, it might take him a few minutes.
Probably.
Draw me up a fucking yeah. If you ask him to draw up smash concept, he might look at the board a little bit and start. It might take him, yeah. But yeah, man. Great win. Probably like I said, a season saving win. Were you guys 0-2? Are you
Yeah,
guys
we were all bro. If we would have went into this 0-3, man, I probably would have you would have been hearing the tank for Travis for me. I
I
would have been
heard, yeah,
saying
yeah. I was
Bro,
about to say you were already
hey,
kind of
Travis to the Rams would be nasty. God damn.
I would have been you would
oh
have heard the
Travis
tank
on
for
the
Travis for
Rams.
me.
That'd be crazy.
You guys are taking Travis over Shador.
Honestly, if we were taking a quarterback, I would want Cam Ward.
Ooh, yeah.
Is
I
he
gotta
coming
take
out this
Travis over
year?
Shador.
Is he coming out this year?
Yeah,
He looks real smooth. I saw him
bro.
run a screenplay. He like kind of diverted two defenders like it was nothing, and then
He's
he was
looking
a real quick
crazy right
release.
now.
I like Jalen Milrow. I
Oh
like
yeah, of course.
Milrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Milrow. Yeah, so that's another conversation for another day. The upcoming quarterbacks in next year. Yeah, that's three right there. I didn't know Cam Ward was eligible to be drafted next year
Hmm.
because it's like
Yeah.
really the first year I'm hearing about him. So,
But shoot, man, I'm
um,
not even worried about that right now. We're 1-2. We're going to Chicago next week, feeling confident about that. And then after that, I think that I think our bye is after we play Chicago. I think we play Green Bay after Chicago, and then we have a bye. Hopefully, we'll
he'll be
get cut
back.
back after that, but
Jordan Love will be back too when you
he
guys play
will.
him.
Yeah, no, he will. I'll be kind of disappointed about that, but um. Hopefully, man, like once we get healthy, if we get healthy at the right time, man, the back half of the year, I think that we can make a good run at winning the NFC West. I don't believe in these Seahawks right now, to be honest. I'm not buying the Seahawk hype.
Yeah.
Um, I do like their OC. I think he's done a very good job with getting the playmakers the ball. JSN had his breakout game last week. Dude had like 100 some yards and like a tub or two tubs, something like that, something crazy. But yeah, no, he was eating.
Hold on, Bags. We about to wrap it up. This is the last topic, bro. Just tell her, put it in the microwave. It'll be ready.
But that's how I take care of business when it comes. Don't worry. Anyways. But yeah. But no, I honestly though, I think you gotta I'm not sold on the Seahawks either. I think they're a good football team, but at the end of the day, I trust McVay over their head coach.
Well,
And
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
the Cardinals are playing good football too, though, man. That last game looked pretty good. They looked like they were gelling on offense, and they could be scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
the
I'm not
Cardinals
gonna
can
write
be
them off yet.
they can be good. It comes down to the health of Kyler Murray. Like yeah, who they lose to this who they just lose to?
Lions.
Yeah, that's valid. That's not a guaranteed win. So I understand that, but they didn't it comes down to the consistency. They're kind of an up and down team. We've seen that over the
Mhm.
years. Like you can't fucking play the game of your life against the Rams and then next week kind of not show up as hard for the Lions, especially at home. So you kind of with the Cardinals, you got to worry about Kyler staying healthy and their consistency. The Seahawks, I feel like kind of you have a ceiling with Geno Smith as your starting quarterback, and that ceiling is
Mm-hmm.
possibly the divisional round in the playoffs. The Niners, we already know what the Niners are about. Really, they'll be there at the end of the year. So the Rams, man, if you guys can stay afloat with all these injuries with Puka out and then get Puka back in a few weeks,
Yeah.
cut back in a few weeks, Kyrell running well, the defense kind of playing with some chemistry. then you guys, yeah, because at the beginning of the year, you guys were a lot of people's sneaky pick to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the tools are still
Yeah.
there. Like I said, this win, you couldn't go 0-3,
Nah,
especially
yeah.
not in that division.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna see a lot to look forward to. When we look at the three divisions of all of our favorite teams, the AFC West, NFC East, and NFC West, there's really, other than I say the AFC West just because the Chiefs are 3-0, there's
Mhm.
with those ones, there's really no clear cut winner. Even
Yeah.
the Seahawks, yeah, they're not like the clear cut favorite. So
The Chiefs don't look good, man. They don't look good right now.
they didn't
They
look
just
good
find
last year.
ways to fucking win, dude. There's something they got a fucking good curse. They find wins, dude.
Well,
It's
that's
crazy how
what
you
what
find
that's
ways
what
to win, bro.
Mahomes has kind of mastered what Brady did around those years where they were making it to the Super Bowl every year. He knows how to win games. And even if that and that doesn't have to be getting the game-winning touchdown at the end of the game every year. That can be kind of getting an extra first down before we give you the ball to try to go win the game and leaving you with a minute 13, no timeouts to come to try to beat us versus leaving you with 2 minutes, 30 seconds and two timeouts. So he's kind of just mastered doing just enough to win. So
Yeah.
it's they're kind of, I'm not worried about them at all. You already know who they are, who they have at quarterback. And like I said, the Falcons, Patrick Mahomes is a guy who's just too good to lose to about 25 teams in the NFL. There's just 25 teams in the NFL. No matter what happens, Patrick Mahomes isn't losing to them. The Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins is one of those teams. So yeah, it's just no matter what, they can play that game 9 out of 10 times. I mean, 10 times they're probably going to win that game 9 times, no matter what happens. So yeah, that's kind of what we got on that. Before we yeah, good EP. Got a lot of good content out of this one. Is there anything, Bags, you want to say before you demolish some Rubios, or pretty much
Yeah, I
everything?
got some shit I gotta take care of. But nah, before yeah, definitely invite me over again. Uh you guys what nights you guys usually do this? Is it Sunday or
Well,
Tuesday?
I'm gonna start because we got basketball coming up. I'm thinking about doing a few different iterations, like a basketball centered one, football centered one, because there's some people on the show that I got that talk basketball more, like
Yeah,
Harlow. So we'll probably just have him on basketball nights, and then I
yeah.
also got a cousin carry on. So yeah, no, if you guys can do this shit consistently, yeah, I'm more than down. Especially like I want to do it probably like Sunday, Monday, and then I'll end up probably just doing it Tuesday too. Those 3 days, just like different crews.
Okay.
Yeah. Have me back on again soon, bro. I got a lot of shit I need to get off my chest about the Cowboys. We've been talking about this shit for a long time, B.
Mhm.
So yeah.
All right, you Marsh, you got anything?
Shoot, no, man. Just thanks for bringing me on again. Looking forward to see how these next few weeks pile up. See how these Rams do versus these Bears. Uh, so hopefully we can, contain. I mean, the Bears ain't been able to run the ball for the last 3 weeks. If they have a 100-yard rushing game this week, I'm gonna fucking pull my hair out. So I
Not
hope
gonna
to God
happen.
that we can
Yeah, not gonna
we can stop
happen.
that shit, man.
Yeah, yeah, I expect Caleb Williams to play a little bit better, but
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on Caleb at all.
No,
I
you
mean,
will. You'll play
yeah,
better.
Not at
not
all.
at all, not at all. Like I've seen enough for me to like, okay, like somebody has to come in there and save him for sure. Because if you just let him keep on doing this shit, you're gonna end up with Trevor Lawrence. You're gonna five
Yeah,
years from now and just be like, oh,
exactly.
this guy's never hasn't reached his full potential and probably isn't going to just because too many bad habits have been enabled over these past 5 years. But yeah, so yeah, man, it's a very interesting season. A lot of unknowns here. Like there's only a few teams that we know are good teams and bad teams. Like it's a lot. Like we thought Denver was
Yeah.
bad, and then they went in there and fucking punched the Buccaneers in the mouth. So yeah, a lot to
Hmm.
be shown next week even. So yeah, a lot of parity this year. I'm very excited.
Hmm. For sure.
But all right, yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Episode 4. See you guys next week. So
All right.
all right, but I'm gonna stop.